I want to talk about a funny story. A long time ago, back in the '70s, and went on vacation. And we'd been talking to some friends of ours who had been up to Burlington, Vermont, the Shelburne Museum. I said, "Gee, that sounds like a nice trip." So my wife and I and daughter, at the time, Michelle, I think, was about maybe 5 years old. Well, maybe it was in the '60s. It'd have to be. No, she'd be no. Yeah, be in the early '70s because she's about maybe 7 or 8 years old. And so we go up to Burlington, Vermont, and wind up there on a Sunday. Get down to Lake Champlain where the ferry is, looking around. And I'm talking to some people down there, and of course they see the little girl, Michelle. I said, "Well, we're up here to enjoy the Shelburne Museum." And they looked at me like, "Whoa, yeah, that's all well and good, but your wife and you might like it, but I don't think your little girl's gonna like it." "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, just take the ferry across to New York State, and there's all kinds of amusement parks and everything else over there that she would thoroughly enjoy." I said, "Okay." So that's what we did. Get up the crack of dawn, get on the ferry, go across to New York State, and we went down the Osable Chasm on a boat ride. That was kind of neat, different. And then we went to one of the amusement parks, which is the Land of Make Believe. And this amusement park is built for little people. In other words, all the houses and everything is made to measure for 8-year-old children. I mean, I go into the house, and of course I'm stooped over and walking on my knees. But Michelle, I thought, would really like it, and so forth and so on, and was having a great time. I thought, my wife thought the same thing. So we took like a break for, a snack, what have you. And we're sitting there talking, and then I happened to notice Michelle is sitting there in the dirt with a rock, playing like it's a race car. I said, "Wait a minute. I could have stayed home, saved all this money and aggravation and getting up early in the morning to get on a ferry to cross Lake Champlain, staying in a motel, what have you. And she could have done that in our backyard. But that's it. It's everything you think your children are going to like, and then come to find out they fool you. you know? But we all had a good time anyways. We had went down to Lake George, what have you. The thing I didn't realize, Lake George at that time of the year, because Saratoga Raceway is in full bloom, and the racing season is there. Within a 50-mile radius of the Saratoga Raceway, you can't get a room. I mean, it's that simple. In other words, boom. So we were over there in Lake George and going to head back. Didn't have a room. We tried to find. We spent probably 2 hours going to every motel for the next 20 miles outside of Lake George and couldn't find accommodations. So we said, "The heck with it. Let's go back. We'll enjoy Lake George and see what we can do." And so we stayed there till about 11 o'clock at night. Then we left, headed towards home. Made it to Albany. There was nothing in Albany, so now we're going back south. I think it's Route 27 in New York State, going into Hoosick, New York, and from Hoosick over to Bennington. And I figured, well, there's be something in Bennington. I tried to get a room in Bennington, and there were no rooms available there either. And so the guy was, the night manager at one of the motels was kind enough to call up 2 or 3 of the other motels that were, he felt would be open, and one was, it was, you know, like cabins, which is rather rustic to say the least. So we went there. Michelle, of course, was asleep the whole time. So we put her to bed and everything else. We go to bed, get up first thing in the morning, and get ready to go up the top of Hogback Mountain. We'll figure we'll have breakfast up there. And my daughter wakes up and looks around the room. What happened? Where are we? I says, honey, we're in downtown Bennington, Vermont. Okay? Perception and reality. What you perceive to be the right thing to do, and reality is what the little people really want. And, you know, bang, you just take it from there. Okay?